Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my today's video. My name is TJ Style, and in today's video I'm going to show you how did I create this effect. So it's a pretty interesting one, and it's a very unique kind of thing because I have only used lens flares. Okay, a lot of people may think that these are optical flares by Video Copilot, but they are no it's a no to the question. These are the basic default lens flares that ship with After Effects. Okay, so now let's take a look at how to do you create such a thing. So first step, create a new composition, YouTube main, and I'm going to be working with 720p HD. Click OK. The background color, it really doesn't matter. Just go ahead and create a new background, just a simple black solid. But I'm just going to copy paste this in. It's just a simple black solid, nothing on it, no effects or nothing, just a simple black solid. It's a good idea to keep a black solid or any kind of background whenever you're trying to experiment or trying to create some kind of a text effect. Okay, so that is being done. Now let's get our lens flares. I'm going to select my background, do a Control D for duplicating it. I'm going to hit the enter key on my keyboard and I'm going to type in lens flare red. Or actually, you know what, I'm going to remove this color. I'm going to call it 01, and then we go to effects and presets, and I don't know why does this thing happen. Whenever I switch to effects and presets, my After Effects just freezes. Just give it some time. Okay, so type in over here lens flare, and under the generate category it's going to be this effect. Take it and drop it onto the lens flare solid, and by default this is actually a pretty not so great, you can say, effect, because the iris are too much. They are very distracting. The color, the bloom and everything, it's not really very nice. So yeah, in today's video I'm going to show you how can you change something like this. Now according to me, the best type of lens flare is this third one, 105 mm prime, and this one I think is better than these two. You can check those out, but I'm going to be working with the last one. Then we select the layer, and then we go to effect, color correction, and then we go to curves. Now when curves come in play, people, you can do a lot of things. Trust me on this, you can do a lot of things. But yeah, so we can do a lot of things, but I'm going to stick to some, I think, two particular colors. So the colors that I'm looking for require me to increase my RGB value. Then I'm going to change my channel to red. I'm going to bring it something like this, to a curve, you can say. Okay, this one looks good. I'm going to increase it to full actually right now, my resolution. Change it to green. Bring this thing down, and right now only it's looking amazing. Check this purple color out, really good. I'm going to go to blue, and you know what, I'm going to be working with one blue and one, I think so, this color. This actually, let's just see. No, that's my uTorrent coming up, and this color also looks good. So I'm going to be working with this color and one purple one. Now you may think that you can just Control D, okay, and then go to lens flare and then just move one copy over here. But well, that effect does work, but the problem is that you may not, I'm sorry. Yeah, one thing that you want to do is change both of the blend modes of the lens flare layers into add. Okay, so you have this effect right here. Go to lens flare, and this is what some of the people may do. They may just eyeball this thing and just kind of bring it over here, and when it looks good, it's perfect. Okay, now this method can work, but I have another method that will give you accurate results. Go to your second layer, your duplicated layer, do a right click and go to transform and go to flip horizontal, and then that way you perfectly flip it on the other side, so that you have like perfect distance between these two. And just to add a little more effect, actually, you can see a few streaks coming out of this lens flare. You can see this 1 and 2, 1 and 2. It really looks that I have duplicated this thing. So what you can do is go to your second layer, okay, and do a right click, go to transform once again, transform, and just do flip vertical, and that just changes the look of the lens flare a little bit. That just adds a little effect to the whole ball. Okay, so go to the curves of the second layer, of the second lens flare, and then just reduce this blue down, or you can just reset the blue. And in that way, oh, I think it just reset the whole thing. Okay, anyways, we'll just quickly do it again. Take the RGB value up to this point, go to red channel, and then just in case if you're following with me, and bring it over here like this, bring this point down, and this just you just have to remember all of these things that I'm doing, or if you come up with a good result on your After Effects, then you just have to remember on what steps you did, because you may write them down or something, but in the end there is no other way of recording this thing, that you cannot save this. One thing that you can do is you can save your After Effects file, and then just keep on using that file and just change the words or something, but other than that I really cannot think of any other method. Okay, so now we have created our two good lens flares. Let's add in some text. Control Shift Alt T, and you can type any text you want. I'm just gonna be working with 2 slides of text. Welcome, and I'm gonna just change the size of this, maybe 110. Select your text, go to Align panel, and you can just center the text. That will, it looks a little better. And then select your lens flares, starting, or select the first layer of your lens flare. Go to your lens flare FX and control, just like me, and start the animation for flare center and flare brightness. Go do the same thing with the second layer. Go to lens flare, start the animation for flare center and flare brightness. Now select both of these layers, hit the U key, and that way you will reveal both the the animation or the keyframes for both of these layers. And if you're following along with me, if you have done this much, then it's great. But now let's take a look at our animation. Okay, this is how you can edit the basic lens flare that is there in After Effects. You can once you are since you're using curves, you can come up with some really good colors, like say you can go in blue, change this one down, maybe brighten it up to get this effect. Go to red, change this maybe, and you get this blue color effect. You can do some crazy things, guys, and trust me that the only limitation in After Effects is your imagination. Yeah, that's a little good line, I think. But anyways, let's get to the point of our animation. Flare brightness, I'm going to reduce it down to 0 for now, and I'll give our text also a little opacity fade, so 0. Then I'll move a little ahead in time, maybe 5 seconds, and I'm right now using page down key. Increase my opacity all the way to 100. Then I'll go to flare center, actually flare brightness of both of these lens flares, increase it to a very big amount, maybe somewhere like, actually I'll just change it to 100 for now, and we'll increase it once we have positioned our lens flares properly. So now go to flare center, and just do this with one of the lens flares, okay, because then you can just copy paste the values. So and make sure that you're not on the first keyframe. A lot of beginners do this, that they mess up the keyframe timing. So make sure you're not on the first keyframe, and then just just try to center the lens flare. And now you have got a perfect value of 500. You can just input 500 over here, and the second lens flare also comes really close to the first one. Then you can increase the brightness like this, then move I think 5 more frames to 49. So both of these have the exact values. Go 5 frames ahead once again, and then change this to 100, and change this one to 100 as well. Then you can just replace these again over here. And now what you want to do is, you don't want to go take your lens flare at the extreme end, okay? You want to do something like this, because you want a little bit of motion to be there in the end. So what you can do is, you can just bring it somewhere over here, and remember the value, okay? 348. I'll just change it to 352 so that it is in sync with the below one. This looks good. So it is 104. Then just change the the value of the below lens flare also to 104. Okay, this looks good now. Then we'll go ahead like say 2 seconds, and then we'll add a little bit of motion so that our whole animation is not boring. So you can see that over here it was 104. Now it is somewhere like make it 60, I think. And now let's take a look at our animation, shall we? So it is kind of good, but I think since we have only given it a 5 frames gap, it's a little too fast. So what you can do is select all of these keyframes. Select all of these keyframes by doing this marquee selection. Hold on the Alt key, and then just select all the full 3 set, and hold on the Alt key and just move it out like this, and then you will have given them a 10 frames gap. So now it has a little more time to reveal. Okay, this looks good. Welcome. Okay, I'll just let it ramp preview a little. Welcome. And then you can just change these last 2 keyframes to ease in. Sorry, right now since I'm recording I cannot use F9, so go to animation, go to keyframe assistant, and go to ease. Right now I cannot use the F9 shortcut because my recorder will come in. Okay, so we have the animation right now, and one little thing that you may be wondering if you have seen this animation is that I have only one text layer. You can see this. The animation keeps changing, but I have only one text layer. Why are these? Actually, how did I get these text to change like this? The trick is go to the text layer, go to this text panel, okay, and then start the animation for this for the source text. Then go to the first frame, and then just drop in a keyframe over here. So, and these are all hold in keyframes, so they hold your value. Then over here we'll shift page down to jump 10 frames. Actually, I'll delete this one. We'll shift page down to jump 10 frames, and then we will want our animation or our lens flares to come in once again, okay, to create that full white what do you say, this full white screen, so nothing is visible, and in that time our text changes. So our flare center should be in the center, correct? So we will just copy this keyframe, these 2 keyframes right now. Control C, Control V, copied them. Do the same thing with the below lens flare. Control C, Control V. So now you have centered them. Go to this ease keyframes and drop in the lens flare like this. Change it to 100. So now if you play it, you'll see. Welcome. Move 10 frames one more time, and then we would want our lens flares, from center. You can see this, it's somewhere in the center, to go back over here, and we won't keyframe this. We'll just copy these keyframes from here. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V, and they are back to their place. And while we have this full white screen, we would want our source text. So just add one more keyframe over here, and then you can change the text. So before it was welcome, now it can be welcome to. Select your text and go to align, center it once again, just in case if it is not centered. And then let's take a look at our animation now. Welcome to, and our 2 is, I think, is a little too small. So what we'll do is, actually, I'll come to this part a little bit later. Let's continue our animation. Now we will go 2 frames ahead, or 2 seconds ahead. So right now it is at 220, correct? Just go to somewhere like 420, And then we would want our lens flares to come, you know, oh no, we would want our lens flares to move a little outside, correct? Just so that we have that little motion. So what you can do is change this 104 to 60. Then you can just add these lens flare brightness, so that there, so there's no movement between lens flare brightness, and you can just easy ease this. Go to animation, keyframe assistant, easy ease. So you have a little better and smooth animation, instead of just having like a crazy thing, and you just repeat this full process. It's a very simple effect. Okay, you can say that I did this whole thing somewhere like 10 full minutes. This thing I'm talking about, this is I've spent a little more time experimenting and getting the full effect. I took around 10 minutes to create this full thing. Depending on what you are doing, on what theme you're doing, what colors you want, how much experimenting you're doing, you can take more time and invest more time in the effect. And then you can just add a little bit of layer styles to the text. So do a right click, go to layer styles, and go to bevel and emboss, and go to a drop shadow. Maybe the default values I think are great. I'm just gonna keep that like this. But one problem that you may occur, that you may find is when that white flash happens, you can still see the text, and that is not supposed to be the part of the plan. So bring this text layer below the two lens flares, and then it will go away, but you'll still see the text when there are lens flares. So we have this perfect effect. Now we would like to add a little animation to the text, because if you see in this effect, in my final effect, there is a little animation to the text. You can see some kerning over here to this. You can see this tutorial. Same over here, welcome. So in order to do that a little kerning, you can just open this thing, open the layer. In this text panel, there's going to be an animate button. Click over here and go to tracking. That brings up your range selector for tracking. Go to the first frame, start the amount, keyframe the amount, and then just go to the last frame. Then add in whatever amount you want to, maybe 19, or if you want to, or if you want a perfect effect, then you can keep playing with this whole thing. Because what I did was I made it like this. At the first text, all the words are getting separated, like if you see welcome, but when 2 comes in, the words are getting closer to each other. Then again this in the third text, the words are getting separated, and in the tutorial the words are coming close to each other. So you can animate those values. So this was my tutorial on how can you do some changes to the default lens flare. Hope you liked it. Please subscribe to this channel, and like this video on YouTube, and show me some support by liking my Facebook page. The link is gonna be in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you all in my next video. Thank you.